Hi, I'm Lesley Greening and I'd like to bring you another video today on my Project Management Matters channel. Now for this video I would like to discuss my techniques that I used for passing the PMP exam. Now for even going in for the exam you need an eligibility letter from the Project Management Institute or the PMI, and to get that letter you need to have 35 hours training, official formal project management training. You need either 4,500 hours project management experience if you have a degree, or 7,500 hours experience if you don't have a degree. Now the PMI, if you join the PMI, then you get a discount on the exam. The pass rate is, well, it's not really published. Years ago they did publish it and it was around, the figures going about was about 60% right up to 80%. So it's really difficult to know what the pass rate is for it. So I made sure that I studied and tried to get the highest score that I could. My techniques is that I make sure that I have a study guide. There's the PMBOK, which is the Project Management Body of Knowledge, and that is just a reference book. And it's very useful to have, but for trying to get you through the exam, you really need a study guide. Now, if you go for a boot camp or you do maybe weekend training or maybe one night a week, the training course that you go to, they may provide a study guide, which then is fine. But you need something that you can study at home, not just something that they have at the training course. And you need to, I think, to study something before you actually go for the training, because that will help you a lot. So once you've gone through your study guide, make sure you answer, well, you attempt all the questions that are in your study guide and keep going over them and over them until what I did was until I got to at least 75%, even higher. I like to try and aim higher, because then you've got that margin of error then, that if you don't, if something happens on the exam, you've got nerves and things like that, you've got that margin there to fall back on. There are lots of questions you can get online, project management professional questions, and there's a lot of free ones and there's also some ones that you can pay for. There are also some sites which give you, they give you different scenarios, different settings that you can choose 10 questions, you could choose 20, you could do a whole trial exam and it will monitor how your scores are going, and they are very good sites. But if you go on to one of those, because you're paying, some of them have a limited time, then you're better off doing all the other questions first until you get to a certain level. Then you go onto these sites where there's the limited time, and also overlap it a bit, that if for any reason you did fail, you've got that little leeway of using that site again after without having to pay again. When you go into your exam, write down all the formulas that are in your head. There are quite a few formulas. There are the earned value formulas, which is like the variances, the performance indexes. There's also a communications channels formula, various others. And once you're going through the exam, you can start panicking. If you get to questions you think, oh God, I don't know how to answer that. And you start to get panicky. You can forget the formulas or mix up the formulas that when you went into the exam you did know. So it's best if you can write all the formulas down as soon as you get in there. Just reel them off, and then you've got that as a reference then. Another thing obviously is to, which with most exams, is to time how you're doing each section. short questions, the very straightforward ones. Then there's more of a paragraph that takes a little bit more thinking, and then you have the big scenario ones. You're allowed 4 hours for the exam, and there's 200 questions. 175 are the ones that actually go through for your score, and there's 15 that are actually experimental and you don't get marks for them, but you don't know what those questions are. For pacing yourself, now the way I did it, I like to go through, and I just go through all of the ones that I know I could answer straight away, the ones that to me are just really easy. I may sort of think, it could be that answer, it could be that one, it could be A, it could be D, and then I'll put a question mark by it or a query. And I think the online exam, gives you that option that will tell you to just go back and check. So you go through, do all the easiest ones, maybe put a question mark by the ones that you think you know but not sure about, and then just go back and go to the more difficult ones. Leave the query ones until you've got all your difficult ones done, because you may be right with the answer you've put in. So you don't want to miss doing any questions. You want to make sure you answer every single one. So the ones that you put a query by, you're probably right. So make sure you go through and do all the ones you can first, and then go back to the queries. That is how I got through the exam. Anyway, so they were the techniques I used, and I hope that it's going to help you to get through the exam. As I say, I passed the PMP first time, and I did find that the study guide was extremely helpful to get me through that. So thank you very much for listening, and if you like the video, please like and subscribe to the channel, and I look forward to talking to you again. Thanks for now.